Last Galaxy phone I have to show you here as part of my little collection is the Galaxy S7 Active. And I did not have a Galaxy S7 Active, I had a Galaxy S7 actually. I owned one in 2016, and it was a pretty good phone. You guys are gonna laugh at this because this is a typical problem with these. The purple line. Everyone loves the purple line. So this is actually a really common problem with these, is the big purple line will show up certain places of the actual screen, and you can't get rid of it. It's kind of there. So everything on this phone is actually just fine. The only problem is that line. That's the only problem with this phone. So it's quite unfortunate. Give you some spec on this one. So this one was released in June of 2016. It has a 5.1 inch screen, 12 megapixel camera down from 16, has 4 gigs of RAM, includes a Snapdragon 820 processor, 4,000 milliamp hour battery up from 3,500 in the S6 Active. It is a 5.1 inch screen, has a quad HD display, so it's 2560 by 1440 pixels, 16 by 9 aspect ratio, 576 pixels per inch. Corning Gorilla Glass 4 does have an always on display. However, I turned that off because the purple line showed up all the time. Stock, it came with 32 gigs of storage, expandable finally by micro SD slot. So they learned from the S6 from that. The back camera is 12 megapixel again. It does have an LED flash. It can do 4K video recording at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 30 frames per second. Can also do 1080p at 60 frames per second, and 720p slow-mo at 240 frames per second. The selfie front camera is 5 megapixel and has Wi-Fi 802.11 ABGNAC, dual band, Bluetooth 4.2, and does have GPS and all that good stuff. This one does bring back the fingerprint reader into the home button there, so it's pretty nice. It does have that fast wireless charging also, and fast wired charging. It did come with Android 6 originally, and it actually got up to Android 8 at the end here. Device here. So on the front here, you'll see we do have those touch buttons. So because this is the active version, this one had physical keys. We have the physical multitasking key, our center key, and then our back key there. On the top here, we do have that front-facing camera there. I believe this would have been a color-coded grill, but it has been scratched up from the previous owner. We have our little sensors, and we have an LED light in the corner there. We have that Samsung branding right there. Very similar ruggedness to the S6 Active, but they did change it up a little bit, so it's a little bit better looking. On the back here, we do have that 12 megapixel camera. We have that LED flash, which also includes that heart rate sensor. We have the AT&T branding, S7 Active branding here, and it does have that digital camo look again. This one looks a little bit more iridescent, and it's a green color versus the blue. I like the blue better, that's just me. As you can see, they smoothed everything out here, so it's really smooth all around. On the left here, we do have that home sleep key. We do have our SD card and SIM card tray right there. On the bottom, we have that micro USB, a microphone and speaker, which is now bottom facing rather than rear facing. Thank you, Samsung. And again, we have that active key here, which you can program to be whatever you want, as well as our volume rocker there. On the top, we have our 3.5 millimeter headset jack. We lose the IR blaster, and we have our microphone there. To give a quick look at performance here, so I did do a couple of benchmarks here. So the first was AnTuTu benchmark. So here's our number, 150,597. And it gives you how many users this defeated. So it's only defeated 6% of users. So it's pretty slow compared to phones today. It does give you the information about the hardware there. You have a couple other tests you can do on this also. Another test that I performed here was with 3D Mark, and on Slingshot Extreme got 2,638, graphics 2,964, physics 1,904. On the Vulcan 2,388, graphics 2,569, and physics score of 1,915. And the last one I did was on Geekbench, and we got a single core score of 245, multi-core score of 843, so it's pretty slow. One thing of interest was that it was just a quad-core processor, so the Galaxy S6 had more cores than this, but it was using an Exynos processor versus a Qualcomm processor here. So as I said before, this is the Snapdragon 820. So it does include also, looks like 4 gigs of RAM, possibly reduced down here, but yeah, those numbers are pretty bad for a phone, considering today we have phones with much better scores. So while the S7 might not be the fastest thing in the world, especially considering today we have much faster phones, it still runs Android 8, so it is capable of running, many modern apps without any issue. So all your social media apps should be available: Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, all those good things here. So as you can see, we got a lot of them there, and a lot of games should run just fine on here. So it might not be the fastest thing in the world, but it still will run pretty well. And just to show you some of the included apps here, so being that this is an AT&T variant here, so this is the S7 Active, it was only available on AT&T, just wanted to show you some of the apps that they include. So they do include some bloatware here, so we have the AT&T ProTech app, My AT&T Smart Limits, Caller ID, Lookout, Drive Mode, Amazon Kindle, Setup and Transfer, Remote for DirecTV, Yellow Pages, and then we have Device Help, DirecTV, you have Facebook, and some other apps. Uber is pre-installed also, Plenty is pre-installed, and then I installed these couple of apps here at the bottom here. So yeah, so just a few there. And another thing I wanted to show you is just the included wallpapers that come with the phone here. So in addition to the stock wallpapers and themes, you can actually download more if you want to. But I want to show you some of the included wallpapers that come with the phone. So we've got, well, it won't let you look at it up close here, but you get the stock app, or the stock one, which is basically rock formation here. And then the Galaxy S7, typical wallpapers that are included here. So these are just kind of abstract wallpapers that are included there. And you can get more down here. We've got our terms and conditions, and I'll just show you that real quick here. And of course it wants me to update it. Anyways, but you do have, you can download more apps and more themes, and there are plenty of wallpaper apps on the Play Store if you wanted to get something different, but it only includes a couple of them there. This is from the Wallpapers app that Google has, which I really like, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it here. Yeah, here it is. So I really like this one because they have quite a few of wallpapers that they include. So they have like landscapes, and you can have these change on a daily basis or hourly basis, however you want to do that. You've got life. So anyway, that's not me really trying to hawk an app, but it is a nice app, and I really like it. It does have some nice wallpapers there. So one good thing about the S7 is it does have a decent set of cameras here. So that rear camera is 12 megapixels. So although that was down from 16 in the S6, it is a really good camera, I think. We also have that 5 megapixel shooter up front, and I'll show you some photos and videos from that now. Here's a test of the rear camera video on the Galaxy S7 Active. video test on the front camera on the Galaxy S7 Active. Alright, so this has just been my quick look at the Galaxy S7 Active, and unfortunately this is the last one in my collection, so there won't be any other Galaxy videos unless I get another one. Hopefully I will in the future, and I'll be able to make a video for you guys. Anyway, hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask in the comments below. And if you did like the video, feel free to leave a like, and if you want to see more like this, consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys in the next video.